welcome to Behind the Canvas, an interview with contemporary urban abstract painter Maxine Taylor. We're coming to you from Maxine's studio in Baltimore, Maryland, to discuss her journey and her work. Thank you for having us with you here today, Maxine. Before we begin, I'd like to briefly run through a few facts about you for our audience. Ready?
You're on. Go for it.
Okay. Well, correct me if I'm wrong. You were born in Petaluma, California, and what's the closest major city to Petaluma?
San Francisco.
Wonderful. I know you were interested in art when you were growing up, but you didn't pursue it. And you moved to Maryland in your mid-30s and started painting, taking some basic art classes in the 80s. By 1997, you purchased an old stable in Baltimore City to rehab into your present studio, and Maxine Taylor Fine Arts was launched in 2005. Now you're on Facebook, YouTube, and the web at www.MaxineTaylorFineArts.com. Did I forget anything?
That's it.
Okay, then let's jump right into it. Your earliest works include watercolor landscapes like Dogfish Head, Maine. When did you first decide to veer into abstracts?
I'd say I began experimenting with abstracts after about 10 years of doing watercolor only on watercolor paper. It didn't have the punch I wanted. I needed more structure to my work. I started adding pastel, acrylic, hard-edged lines, and that naturally evolved into abstraction for me. At first I started working on existing paintings, then began tearing up paintings to construct collages.
Whoa.
I studied abstract expressionist painters, studied my own efforts at abstraction, and began using acrylics when I developed the series Seeking Language, creating over 200 different versions of the black and white paintings on watercolor paper in 1994.
Oh, I've actually seen, I think, some of that series in your film, The Metro Aesthetics, right? Seeking Language?
That's right.
I have a basic understanding of abstract art. However, you characterize your work as contemporary urban abstract. Could you tell us what that means?
Well, contemporary is the present time, not 10 years ago, not in the future. Urban represents my view of city life. I never had lived in a city prior to moving to Baltimore. I'm a country girl, and never thought I was missing anything. Now it would be difficult for me to give up city life. Abstract for me represents the essence of whatever I perceive visually or emotionally. Does that give you a better understanding of my work?
Actually, it does, and I happen to agree with you. I used to spend my summers in the country, and I don't think I could go back either. You have so many incredible paintings. Two of my favorites come from a collection called Urban Views. It's a hearty bunch of mostly black and whites. Let's talk a bit about Streetwise and what it says to the audience. What was the inspiration for that particular painting?
Streetwise. Now, these black and white paintings were distinct from the Seeking Language series, created in '94. Streetwise represents what I see in the city. Mostly women walking with their kids. I see men walking together, but the women are the ones walking with their children. This understanding of what I was painting came to me long after the series was finished.
I really do love that one. Tooling along. To me, this painting would look good from any orientation. Is that due to its geometric structure?
No, if it can be viewed from any angle, that's due to the composition not being anchored to a horizon line or any other specific reality. For me, tooling along is best viewed on the horizontal as it is.
One of your newer works, Townhouse with Black Lime, it has a different feel from the others in your collection.
Which ones does it differ from?
Well, say like Flashcard or Cowboy in the City. To me, Townhouse with Black Lime has a different vibe. It's like an openness, while the others are more like a collage feeling.
You're very perceptive, because until recently, I didn't realize why it was different. I can make an analogy for you. I've always identified leafless trees in winter as more naked and vulnerable than trees in full leaf in summer. Townhouse with Black Line is the most naked and vulnerable of my new paintings. I don't often succeed in revealing such vulnerability, but I would seek to achieve that more in the future.
So when you're creating a piece of work, is there any particular thing you're thinking about? That is, what are you experiencing in your mind?
Well, what I'm experiencing is entirely feelings, emotions. I never have a picture in my head of what I will be putting down on canvas. I have to constantly focus on and trust my intuition about a piece. Then there's the resolution of the composition, which is mostly intellectual. It can't always be accomplished without some sacrifice to what the intuition has laid down from the beginning of a painting. But I try to maintain the integrity of my original passion.
Wow, that sounds complicated. Well, what, if anything, do you want viewers of your works to take away with them after they view one of your canvases?
Oh, that's easy. I want them to give their intuition more credit and generally more free rein. I want people to feel something, not necessarily what I feel. If my work communicates with a particular viewer, makes them feel something, whatever, that's a success in my eyes. We can discuss it from there.
Well, I have to say, night music does that for me. I mean, there's so much going on in that painting. I get the sense that I'm hearing an incredible band, and there's light, and there's color all around, and people are dancing. Am I getting the gist of it?
Absolutely. You got it.
Great. Well, something a little more serious now. As an artist, what do you feel is art's role in shaping our society? Is there a responsibility to educate and enlighten people?
I wouldn't say responsibility, but certainly it's within our grasp to alter the perspective of those with whom we interact. Every child knows that what it is to create something from his or her own imagination. It's a natural thing for a child to do. A child who can stay in touch with his creativity when he grows up is more inclined to accept his intuition as part of his intelligence and use it as such. Art balances our way of thinking. Being involved with the arts, creating or viewing, forces us to think, forces us to have a more open-minded, expanded thought process. To be a well-balanced individual, we need to be able to think more clearly, our mind open, learn to express ourselves more clearly, to listen and weigh the opinions of others.
You're retiring in February from a full-time position, and you'll be shifting your focus solely to creating and promoting your art. You've had moderate success as an artist across the country. With the appreciation of art being as subjective as it is, what are your plans for making a larger impact with your work?
Well, first, I believe that my work will be more appreciated fully with exposure to a wider audience. My friends and I support each other in development of our various talents, and then we use our newly honed abilities to move forward in our work. Second, with the lack of mentoring, apprenticeships, newspaper coverage, galleries, and the like, we must embrace the internet and its technology and put it to work for us. I believe that is possible, and my current campaign puts my belief to the test.
Finally, if there were a message you could send to other aspiring artists out there, what would you tell them?
Well, for some, it would be get a job to support your habit. Painting, sculpting, photography, whatever, until you can develop your talent and succeed at gaining an audience. For others, push yourself, get out there, go to New York, go to Europe, go to whatever area of the world speaks to you. Be a starving artist if you must. Force out all of your talents. Confront those who would fail to notice you, those who would push you away. Make them see who you are, what you are. Proclaim yourself to be an artist.
I'd like to thank our audience for joining me for an interview with contemporary urban abstract painter Maxine Taylor. Please visit her website at www.MaxineTaylorFineArts.com. On YouTube, search mtaylor30, and on Facebook, please like Maxine Taylor Fine Arts. Until next time, this is Tiffany J. Church, along with
Maxine Taylor.
Have a great one.